Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you for the online satsang of the Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. So we are continuing the Sutra Vahini as a part of the study circle, which we have been doing. So we are going to start the Sutra 7, the Brahma Sutra 7 and Sutra Vahini. So Swami talked about various sutras. We finished 6 of them. Last week, we finished the sutra number 6, where the emphasis is that Atma is everything. That is the one thing, if you want to remember, Swami says, all is Atma, Atma is all. Like essentially saying, God is all is God. So he says essentially, all is Atma and Atma is all. And he said also, in all beings, that means everything we see, whenever we walk across, we should say in human beings or birds, bees, animals, plants, we see the rocks and bushes, everything we should say, hey, this is Atma, this is God, this is Rudra. So like that feeling we should have, you should smear everything with the divine. So you should, the stage should come, should nothing but that. That is what he's emphasized. In all beings, we should see the Atma. In all situations, because sometimes we don't experience. When you're in good mood, you feel Atma not. But you should be able to see in all situations, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep stage. And in all situations, dualities, honor, dishonor, praise, blame, heat, cold. In all situations, you should feel that. So that is the really living in the awareness of Atma. That is what we ended last time, in all circumstances, in all beings, in all actions. So now we will start the Sutra 7. The Sutra is, so people who want to know Sanskrit, otherwise you don't. Heyatva avachanacha. That means divine will is the cause of all causes. That is one of the most fundamental scriptural dictum. Divine will is the cause of all causes. So we'll start this and then we'll end in 20 minutes. Yeah.
Sai Ram, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Chapter 7. Divine will is the cause of all causes. When the cause is known, one can know all consequences. The entire universe, that is, the moving and the unmoving, everything formed from the 5 primordial elements and hence named composite of the 5 elements, prapancha, projected by the divine will. It is a consequence of the will of God, Bhagavat Sankalpa, which is the cause. No consequence can happen without a precedent cause. However, the cause has 2 aspects, the material cause, Upadana Karana, and the efficient cause, Nimitta Karana. God, both the material and the efficient cause of cosmos. The material cause is primary, earlier than the product. It is the entire basis, the total basis on which the product rests. Consider a silver cup, for example. The cup has no existence apart from silver. When the silver which can be shaped into a cup is absent, the product is also absent. Silver is the material cause. In other words, before the form, rupa, becomes, the quote-unquote being is and has to be. The cup is the form imposed on silver by the efficient cause. It is the consequence of art, artificial. Silver is the pre-existence cause. A silversmith prepares the cup. Once the cup is ready, the smith has no affinity with it, but the cup and silver have close affinity forever. God is the material cause of creation of the cosmos, of the universe. He is the substance, the basis, the material cause. God is also the efficient cause. He is both transcendental and phenomenal, both being and becoming. Like silver in the cup, the cosmos is all God. He has been manifesting himself as all this. He has willed to become all this. In everything, Padartha, he, the highest truth, Paramartha, is eminent. In the absence of this highest truth, no thing can exist. Each one is sustained by the all-comprehensive reality. So in this section, the basis of all creation, cosmos, the universe, Swami is pointing out to us, is the divine will. And he said this very nicely in a two-word mantra that we actually practiced some time ago, which is God is, Devudunnadu. And Swami says God is, and once we experience him and we see him everywhere, then we have reached that stage, where we are on the path to liberation. So God is both the cause and the effect. Both of that is God. And so nothing can exist without him. This truth is something that we have to experience, and then we have to merge into it. And this is also the principle that we practice during the Mahashivaratri celebrations and other celebrations, where the beginning, the sustenance, and the merging is all the same. It all comes from the symbol of God in the form of lingam or something else. So these two truths are one and the same, and to see that truth is real jnana or real wisdom. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you might have seen people who have opened your PDF file or you have the book. Certain words, I think it need to be clear. In the Vedanta, certain words are used. First, Swami said prapancha. Pancha means five. Everything is prapancha, is composed of five elements, pancha bhutas. The whole creation in Taittiriya Upanishad, beautiful if you want the creation, Akasho, Vayo, Agni, Apaha, Apa, Pudivi, Aushadaya, Anna, Purusha. The beautifully creation. What a beautiful, thousands of years ago, our Vedic seers have seen how the creation. That means, in simple language, from the sky came this air, all-pervading air. Space is the most all-pervading. Each one that comes, it becomes more grosser and grosser. Then comes the all-pervading air. From there comes fire, Agni. From there comes Jala, the water. From that comes the Prithvi, the earth. And from Prithvi comes the Oshadaya, all the trees, herbs, the food we have. All the food we have is from the trees. And from the trees comes the human existence, animals, beings, humans, everything comes, the creation. So the root cause is that. So you need to see that. That is why everything fundamentally finally boils down to composed of this prapancha, five bhutas. We all came from five elements. We dissolve into the five elements. This whole being, that is what came from five elements, go back to the five elements. And even this pancha Jnanendriyas, the Akasha, I told you, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Pudhivi, they are responsible 5 Jnanendriyas. We call from there the 5 Tanmatras, they call 5. Try to write, this looks very Sanskrit, but you want to go seriously dive, you should at least know basic. 5 Tanmatras is derived from these 5 elements. That is sound. When you hear sound, the underlying thing is the Panchabhuta is Akasha. From Vayu, the thing is Sparsha, able to touch. That is the gift of Vayu. And Agni, Rupa, whenever you see a form, that is because of the element of Agni. And taste from Jala, because of the Jala gives the taste. And Gandha, that's smell, because of Puthivi. So Swami is, or even the scriptures say, the whole thing is 5 elements, and the 5 elements is nothing but part of God. That is why in some of the Shaivites thing, they don't worship a form of God or even Linga. Ashtamurtis they call. These 5 elements. They 5 elements and then 3 more. That is sun, moon, and then the one who is doing the yajna. So we can say other things. How is Rama? You got to imagine, Rama looks like that, Krishna looks like that. Fortunately, Swami, we have seen, heard him, we are lucky, the avatar. But others, this is living reality. This Panchabhuta, sun every day you see, moon you see every day, you see, experience the space, what. So these are the living elements of divinity. This is what Swami is talking about, prapancha. There is one aspect. Then 2 other matters he said is very important. We can continue discussion next week. Upadana karana, nimitta karana. This is it looks complicated. So I can make it simple for you. When you have clay, there's upadana karana. From the clay, you make so many kinds of parts, right? Or take gold. That is another upadana karana. From that, you make many kinds of jewels. But to have the jewels made, you need a goldsmith. To make parts, you need a potter, right? The one. So there, the upadana from which it is made is always clay. Like gold is gold, whether it is earrings or bracelets and nose rings or anklets, made up of gold. Once you dissolve, it is all gold, even though it is different, serves different forms. But the one who makes this gold is different. Whereas in the creation, the concept of this Brahma Sutras, which is from Badarayana, the great Rishi Badarayana wrote these Brahma Sutras. He says, Upadana Nimitta is the same. Brahman is the Upadana from which everything. And he is the one who made it also, this whole creation. So he is both Upadana and Nimitta, whereas in the world, we see Upadana is different from Nimitta. That means Brahman is the source, Brahman is what you see, and into Brahman it belongs. So this you can understand only by deep contemplation. That is why he says to another 2 words, Parartha, Paramartha. Everything we see, Padartha, that means that object, this object. But everything you should see as Paramartha, divine. That is the thing, that whatever is done by my will, Ekoham Bahusyam. God said, I created by my word. Actually, it is written in scriptures, Vedas. The mountains came, then the rivers came, then the oceans came, then the trees came, then the animals came, then human beings came. Just by the will of Lord, everything happens. This is where the philosophy is different. We talked in the before. You guys go and read it. One is the philosophy of Kapila, Sankhya philosophy, where they think it came by itself, the Prakruti. That doesn't look right. And then there is another thing, Kanada, which says by atoms, everything got together. And the Buddhist their philosophy is like Shunya and all that. But Badarayana is the one who came up with the Brahma Sutras, and Swami approved it, Sri Ramakrishna, all the great masters. This is the right thing. Everything is Brahman is the basis. Brahman is responsible, Brahman comes. So everything, whatever happens by God's will. So let me see, we all say, oh, not even an ant will bite me without God's will, right? Whatever in Telugu, it's famous. Shivuni Ajna lenide chema puttadu. Even Sridhar Babu says, not even an ant will bite you without God's will. Whatever happens is by God's will. In theory, we say that, but in practice, And something happens, oh, why is God doing this to me? There is an interesting thing I can tell you. When I was in Prashant Nilayam, 40 years ago, we were there in the Darshan. So this guy, applied for a job. He finished just college. He was going for a job. He was want to establish a family. So, those days people used to keep a tray with some chocolates where Swami used to take and throw on people on a birthday. And some people played games, even if it is not their birthday, they want to cheat God, they put that. And Swami, after a while, he stopped it. So he had it. And at the same time, he wanted to know which job to take. He had two jobs. One is a bank job, bank offer, and another job as a teacher. He's finished college. So he put two chits. Whichever chit Swami touches, that I will take. Chocolate. So everybody's excited. More than people, sometimes people are around more curious. So they were watching. Swami came, took the chocolate, he threw on people. They were happy, everybody catches, because everybody wants like Prasad and Swami. Then he didn't take either the thing. Then they were all worried. More than him, he was not worried, but people around worried. What will happen? Swami didn't take either of them, didn't touch anything. Yeah, bank job pays better, so I will take bank job. So Swami knows this guy already made up his mind that he will take the bank job. Why to waste my suggestion? Because what happens in life, thine will be done if it is according to my will. Most of the time you already make up, I want this comfortable place, I want these children there. Okay, you want this, take it. So, but if you really surrender, Lord, I don't know what is good, what is bad. You know what is good for me. You take, then he will come. You already made up your mind. He says, okay, you make up. Like the Arjuna says, Karpanya dosho, Lord, I don't know anything. Please tell me, I'm confused. Arjuna finally, first he gives an argument, there, that. Finally he says, Puchami tvam dharma sammudachyata. I'm confused. Tell me what is best for me. Then he comes in the picture. Otherwise, you try to do like even Draupadi case, you know that, when she was struggling to protect herself in that. Finally, she gave up. She with both hands, Lord, I cannot do this. Only you do that. When complete surrender, that thine will be done, that is the ultimate stage. But till that time, you should do whatever you believe. Another story is this is another. There are two friends. One guy believes everything happens by divine will. We don't need to do anything. Another guy, no, we need to work hard. We need to do the self-purpose. So both of them are going somewhere in the friends. Suddenly these thieves, somebody were taking some loot and they were going. And they saw these soldiers police were following them. They ran and they dropped them near these guys. The police saw these two people and they had this loot is there. They thought this is the guys who did. They caught him. They didn't know, we didn't do. They don't pay. You have it with you. They put them in the jail and they were putting. And after a while, he was struggling how to get out of this jail. So one of the guys said, hey, let us put a nice underground tunnel and get out of it. He says, no, I will just think about God. God will take care of me. Then he says, no, I will put a tunnel because I'm so hungry. These guys are not giving enough food. He gets to the tunnel, gets out. The tunnel goes out, and then he gets the food. He was happy, he eats. And he feels, oh my God, my friend is suffering. He's hungry. So let me take something. So he goes back to the trunk and gives back to his friend. You see how important self-effort. I went there, God, I felt happy, and I gave you. So just doing. He said, I didn't do anything. I was just keeping quiet here. God motivated you to bring it. So, because he believed in self-effort, that worked for him. This guy believed in the divine will, it worked for him. That is next stage. That's whatever you believe. The final stage is Sri Ramakrishna's beautiful story. There was one of the monks, he was going in the street. He was just, these are rowdies, they beat him up. They beat him bad and he was bruised. And after a while, some people were going, oh my God, such a holy man, who beat him up? Then they put water in him, gave him, they tried to heal him up. So then he woke up. Then after that, his friends found, where is he? My friend is missing. They came. They were, hey, what happened? Who beat you? Oh, Lord Rama beat me. Then who gave you the water? Lord Rama gave me. And how did you recover? By the grace of Rama. That means everything. The one who is beating is Rama. The one who gave the water is Rama. That is the ultimate stage, divine will. Nothing, it doesn't matter to him. Everything is happening by his will. Then he says, when his will happening, you clap with hands, Lord, thine will be done, and you are in happy. That is the divine will and this story. And we'll continue